This is unheard of. An MC that doesn't want to be on stage, that's almost blasphemy, according to the rules, What is it that happened inside of you when you decided, you know what, I gotta really put this aside?
After, like, if you've been doing it for years, it's kind of like my personality. I kind of have to be excited about something, like really excited and passionate about it. And after you've been doing it for years, and it's been times right before I made a decision, we were on tour with Lauryn Hill, and there's been days where you'd be on stage and you're not even there. You've been doing it so long that you know all your stuff.
How did Andre 3000, one half of the legendary duo OutKast, rise to become one of the most enigmatic figures in the history of music? And perhaps more importantly, why did he step back from the spotlight at the peak of his career? Andre 3000's story isn't just about success, it's about breaking every rule in the book, challenging norms, and leaving fans with more questions than answers. From his early days in Atlanta to his meteoric rise to fame with OutKast, Andre Benjamin, better known as Andre 3000, built a career on defying expectations. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a creative visionary who blurred the lines between hip-hop, funk, soul, and even jazz. With his eccentric style, poetic lyrics, and unmatched stage presence, Andre captivated the world. But as his fame grew, so did his resistance to the machine of the music industry. This is the insane true story of Andre 3000, a tale filled with triumphs, mysteries, and an artist who refused to be boxed in. By the end of this video, you'll see why his legacy continues to inspire, even as he keeps us guessing about what's next. Before the world knew him as Andre 3000, he was Andre Lauren Benjamin, born on May 27, 1975 in Atlanta, Georgia. Raised by a single mother, Sharon Benjamin Hodo, who worked as a real estate agent, young Andre grew up in a household that valued hard work and creativity. Despite the challenges of a single-parent upbringing, his mother always encouraged his unique interests, nurturing the artistic spark that would later define his career. From an early age, Andre stood out. He was a gifted child with a love for music, art, and writing. His vivid imagination often spilled over into his schoolwork and creative projects, making him a favorite among teachers, even if he was occasionally mischievous. However, it was in high school where his life took a pivotal turn. While attending Tri-Cities High School, a magnet school for visual and performing arts in East Point, Georgia, Andre met Antoine Big Boy Patton. The two clicked immediately, bonding over their shared love of music and aspirations to make it big. Little did they know, this meeting would be the start of one of the most iconic partnerships in hip-hop history. Even in those early days, Andre's distinct personality was evident. While many of his peers stuck to conventional paths, Andre was already experimenting, dabbling in poetry, exploring eccentric fashion, and challenging the norms of his environment. His boldness and creativity caught the attention of those around him, marking him as someone destined for something extraordinary. This period of his life set the stage for what was to come. The unique blend of his mother's unwavering support, the artistic environment of Tri-Cities High, and his serendipitous partnership with Big Boy laid the foundation for a career that would change the face of hip-hop forever. With their shared passion for music, Andre and Big Boy formed OutKast in the early 1990s. They quickly began crafting their unique sound, a fusion of southern hip-hop, funk, and soulful melodies that set them apart from the East Coast and West Coast rap dominance of the era. Their big break came when they signed with LaFace Records, a label co-founded by industry giants L.A. Reid and Babyface. In 1994, OutKast released their debut album, Southern Playalistic Idyllic Music. The album was a revelation, bringing Southern hip-hop to the forefront and earning critical acclaim. With tracks like Players Ball, the duo captured the struggles and triumphs of growing up in Atlanta, weaving their personal experiences into a sound that was fresh, authentic, and deeply relatable. The album's success earned them the Best New Rap Group Award at the Source Awards, a moment that cemented their place in the burgeoning hip-hop scene. But Andre and Big Boy weren't content to stick to the formula. With each subsequent album, OutKast pushed the boundaries of what hip-hop could be. Italiens, 1996, showcased a more introspective side, with Andre's lyrical genius shining through as he explored themes of spirituality, alienation, and self-discovery. By the time they released Aquemini in 1998, their sound had evolved into an eclectic blend of genres, earning widespread critical acclaim and solidifying their reputation as innovators. Andre, in particular, particular began to stand out for his artistic vision, whether it was his unconventional fashion choices or his willingness to experiment with melodies and song structures. He was redefining the role of a rapper. His fearless creativity resonated with fans and critics alike, making OutKast one of the most influential acts of their time. Their rise wasn't just about music, it was about culture. OutKast's success gave a voice to the South, challenging stereotypes and proving that Atlanta was a force to be reckoned with in hip-hop. They weren't just breaking into the industry, they were reshaping it. But as their star continued to rise, so did the expectations and pressures that came with fame. And for Andre, those pressures would soon lead to one of the most pivotal moments in his career. By the turn of the millennium, OutKast was poised to redefine the musical landscape once again. In 2000, they released Stankonia, an album that didn't just break molds, it shattered them, combining hip-hop with funk, psychedelia, and electronic music. Stankonia was a bold leap into uncharted territory. The album's explosive energy was undeniable, and it quickly caught the world's attention. One of the standout tracks, Miss Jackson, showcased Andre 3000's ability to blend personal storytelling with catchy hooks. The song was a heartfelt apology inspired by his real-life relationship with singer Erykah Badu and her mother. Its relatable lyrics and infectious melody resonated with listeners worldwide, propelling it to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Another hit, So Fresh, So Clean, highlighted the duo's smooth style and became an anthem in its own right. But Andre wasn't content with just chart-topping hits. He was pushing for something revolutionary. In 2003, OutKast released the ambitious double album Speaker Box, The Love Below. This project was essentially two solo albums. Big Boy's Speaker Box leaned into southern hip-hop roots, while Andre's The Love Below ventured into experimental sounds that blurred genre lines. Andre explored jazz, funk, R&B, and even pop, creating a sonic experience that was entirely his own. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Hey Ya, the lead single from The Love Below, became a global sensation with its upbeat tempo, quirky lyrics, and unforgettable music video featuring multiple versions of Andre performing on stage. The song was unlike anything else on the airwaves. It topped charts across the globe and became one of the defining tracks of the decade. This period catapulted Andre 3000 into mainstream stardom. He wasn't just a rapper from Atlanta anymore. He was a cultural icon pushing the boundaries of music and style. His fearless fashion choices, from flamboyant outfits to bold hairstyles, made him a trendsetter. Fans and critics alike praised his innovation, and the industry took note. Speaker Box The Love Below won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year, a rare achievement for a hip-hop artist. But with unprecedented success came new challenges. The overwhelming fame and constant spotlight began to weigh on Andre. He had always been an artist who valued creativity over commercialism, and now he found himself at the pinnacle of an industry that often demanded conformity. The question loomed, how would Andre navigate this new level of fame while staying true to himself? But that wasn't the whole story. After the monumental success of Speaker Box The Love Below, fans eagerly awaited what OutKast and Andre 3000 would do next. But instead of capitalizing on their newfound superstardom, Andre began to pull away from the public eye. His retreat from the spotlight baffled many, but for Andre, it was a necessary step to preserve his creative spirit and mental well-being. Andre had always been open about his struggles with fame. In interviews, he described how the relentless pressure to perform and exceed expectations began to weigh heavily on him. I felt like I was trapped in the persona people created for me, he once said, reflecting on how success had turned his artistry into an obligation rather than a passion. The vibrant, eccentric artist the world had come to love was now grappling with feelings of self-doubt and anxiety. Adding to this retreat was Andre's refusal to conform to the traditional music industry model. While other artists were churning out albums and going on massive tours, Andre became increasingly selective about his projects. He distanced himself from the grind of album cycles and instead focused on exploring other creative outlets, from acting to visual art. This decision frustrated fans who longed for more music, but Andre remained steadfast in his choice to prioritize his well-being. Andre's acting career offered him a new form of creative expression. He took on roles in films like Four Brothers and Idlewild, the latter being a musical drama loosely based on OutKast's creative journey. While these ventures showcased his versatility as an artist, they also served as a refuge from the pressures of the music world. Acting allowed Andre to channel his creativity without the intense scrutiny he faced as a musician. Meanwhile, sporadic musical appearances kept fans intrigued. Andre would occasionally lend his voice to collaborations with artists like Beyonce, Frank Ocean, and Kanye West. Each feature was a reminder of his unmatched talent talent, yet these rare glimpses only deepened the mystery surrounding his absence. Why wouldn't he return to the studio for a full project? The answer, according to Andre, was simple yet profound. He didn't want to create unless it felt authentic. This period of retreat marked a turning point in Andre's life and career. While his withdrawal frustrated some, it also solidified his reputation as an artist who valued integrity over commercial success. Andre wasn't chasing fame or chart-topping hits. He was chasing creative freedom, even if that meant stepping away from the industry that had made him a legend. But Andre's retreat was only part of the story. His journey into other creative pursuits revealed a side of him that few had seen before, and it would further define his legacy in unexpected ways. Even as Andre 3000 stepped back from the spotlight, his creative spark continued to burn brightly in unexpected ways. Music was no longer his primary outlet, but that didn't mean he stopped expressing himself. Instead, he explored a variety of artistic passions that showcased his versatility and deep need for personal growth. One of Andre's most notable ventures was his acting career. Starting with smaller roles, he quickly made a name for himself in Hollywood with performances in Four Brothers and Semi-Pro. But his most personal project came with Idlewild, a 2006 musical film that starred both Andre and Big Boy. The movie, set in the Prohibition era, was a visual and auditory feast, blending OutKast's unique style with a vintage aesthetic. Though it didn't achieve massive commercial success, Idlewild remains a cult classic and a testament to Andre's ability to transcend mediums. Another passion that Andre poured himself into was fashion. Known for his eccentric and bold sense of style, Andre launched a clothing line called Benjamin Bixby in 2008. Inspired by the preppy Ivy League look of the 1930s, the line reflected Andre's eye for detail and his desire to tell a story through clothing. Though the brand was short-lived, it solidified his status as a style icon and trendsetter. Throughout this period, Andre continued to dabble in music, albeit on his own terms. He lent his talents to collaborations with artists like Beyoncé on Party, Frank Ocean on Pink Matter, and Kanye West on 30 Hours. Each feature was a reminder of his lyrical genius and unmatched charisma, but they also came with an air of mystery. Fans couldn't help but wonder why he wasn't making his own music. Andre explained in interviews that he didn't want to create unless he felt he had something truly meaningful to say, a philosophy that further endeared him to his audience. In addition to his public ventures, Andre embraced quieter, more introspective pursuits. He was often spotted playing the flute in public spaces, a practice he described as therapeutic. This simple act spoke volumes about Andre's mindset. He was an artist who valued authenticity and self-expression over fame or accolade. Andre's ventures outside of music painted a fuller picture of who he was, an artist unafraid to take risks, explore new territories, and challenge societal expectations. These pursuits may not have brought him the same level of mainstream success as his music, but they added depth to his legacy as a multifaceted creator. Even as Andre explored these passions, fans continued to yearn for his return to music. The question loomed, would he ever release another album, or was his evolution into a creative enigma the ultimate chapter in his story? As time passed, Andre 3000's absence from the music scene became as much a part of his story as his groundbreaking career with OutKast. Fans and critics alike speculated on why one of the most talented and influential artists of his generation chose to step away from the limelight. For Andre, the answer was complex and deeply personal: the weight of his legacy. Andre's contributions to music had set an impossibly high standard, not just for his audience, but for himself. In interviews, he admitted that the pressure to surpass his previous work often paralyzed his creative process. People have such high expectations, and I don't want to deliver something that doesn't feel genuine, he once shared. His desire for authenticity often clashed with the demands of the industry, leaving him in a constant tug of war between creation and perfectionism. This internal conflict wasn't just about music, it was about identity. Andre was no longer the young, hungry artist from Atlanta. He had grown, evolved, and experienced life in ways that changed how he approached his art. The flamboyant stage presence and genre-defying sounds of his past felt disconnected from the person he had become. "I don't want to play a character anymore," he said in one candid interview, reflecting on his transformation over the years. Andre's ventures outside of music painted a fuller picture of who he was, an artist unafraid to take risks, explore new territories, and challenge societal expectations. These pursuits may not have brought him the same level of mainstream success as his music, but they added depth to his legacy as a multifaceted creator. Even as Andre explored these passions, fans continued to yearn for his return to music. The question loomed, would he ever release another album, or was his evolution into a creative enigma the ultimate chapter in his story. As time passed, Andre 3000's absence from the music scene became as much a part of his story as his groundbreaking career with OutKast. Fans and critics alike speculated on why one of the most talented and influential artists of his generation chose to step away from the limelight. For Andre, the answer was complex and deeply personal. The weight of his legacy. Andre's contributions to music had set an impossibly high standard, not just for his audience, but for himself. In interviews, he admitted that the pressure to surpass his previous work often paralyzed his creative process. People have such high expectations, and I don't want to deliver something that doesn't feel genuine, he once shared. His desire for authenticity often clashed with the demands of the industry, leaving him in a constant tug of war between creation and perfectionism. This internal conflict wasn't just about music, it was about identity. Andre was no longer the young, hungry artist from Atlanta. He had grown, evolved, and experienced life in ways that changed how he approached his art. The flamboyant stage presence and genre-defying sounds of his past felt disconnected from the person he had become. "I don't want to play a character anymore," he said in one candid interview, reflecting on his transformation over the years.